So today we're going to be working on two new exercises which we're going to add to our warm-up routine. These are going to work our wrists and forearms. The first variation of the exercise that we're going to do is going to work our shoulders a bit from holding the bow out in front of us. And we're going to execute both of these from the horse stance so that we're going to work our legs a bit. So I want you to grab your bow and I want you to assume a good solid horse stance. Now, you're going to put your bow out in front of you and you're going to grab a length of it with which you feel comfortable. So it could be, arm's length or whatever you want, but grab a nice good spot on the bow where you're going to feel comfortable holding it. And you're going to hold it out in front of you as level as you can get it. Okay? And I'm going to do this from the side so that you can see this exercise better. So you're going to pick a side to start from, and basically grab a length of the bow which you feel comfortable, and hold it out directly in front of you. From here, your arm is going to stay parallel with the surface of the ground, or perfectly as horizontal as you can keep it. And the bow itself is going to be moving. Okay, so we're going to do this exercise, and do this is mainly going to work the top and the bottom of the forearms as we do this exercise. So you're going to hold it directly out in front of you in your horse stance. You're going to bring it up, and you're going to slowly bring it down to your shoulder. Then you're going to push it back up and push it straight out in front of you again. Bring it up, and then bring it down, and then bring it up, and then bring it down again. Okay, so whatever you do one side, you have to do the other, so make sure that you do this at a steady pace, okay, not too fast, because the heavier your bow gets or the farther out from the center that you hold it, when it comes down, it can be really heavy and you don't want to hit yourself in the head, basically. So let's do a few repetitions of this exercise, and then I'll show you a variation of it, which I think is quite fun. So we're in our horse stance. Our bow is directly out in front of us. That's one. That's two. That's three. That's four. And that's five. And immediately following that, you want to switch hands. Assume a nice solid horse stance yet again. Hold the bow out in front of you. And then we'll start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now for this variation, we're going to do a total of 21 repetitions. So I like to call this my 21 rep exercise. So basically, we're going to break down every phase of the exercise. So we're going to do a halfway up phase, a halfway down phase, and then a full range of motion phase. So it looks a little something like this. The exercise starts the same. You're in your horse stance still. You have a nice, a good length of the bow, which is not too challenging, but still not easy. And you're going to hold the bow out in front of you. Now this time, you're going to work on the front half of the arch. So you're only going to do the front half. So for 7 repetitions, you're going to lift the bow up, and then bring it down. And up, and down, and up, and down. 7 times, okay? For the next 7 reps, you're going to start at the bottom half of the arch. So, you're going to bring the bow up, bring it down to your shoulders, and up, and down to your shoulders, and up, and down your shoulders. 7 times. For the last 7 repetitions, you're going to bring the bow up, and back to your shoulders, and all the way back, and that is 1 repetition. all the way up and all the way back. So you do 7 reps of each, and I'll do one set for you so that you can see what it looks like completed, and then we'll move on to our next exercise. So grab a nice solid length of the bow, assume your horse stance, and hold the bow out in front of you. Then 7 repetitions halfway up. And now 7 repetitions halfway down. And now you're going to do 7 repetitions of the full range of motion. And that is our 21 exercise for this routine. So now we're going to move on to our second variation, which is going to be the same thing from a horse stance still, but in this time our bow is going to be perpendicular to our arms. So it's still an arc, and the only difference is that the bow moves in front of you, but with the length of your shoulder. So the very first thing that you want to do is assume a solid horse stance. Pick a length of the bow that is comfortable for you. And you want to make sure that the tail of the bow is on the ground and your arm is directly out in front of you, okay? Not into the side, not out here, but directly to the front, okay? It should be in line with your shoulder. Your wrist should be in line with your shoulder. So make sure that the tail of the bow is on the ground. And basically what you want to do is rotate the bow so that it touches the ground on the other side. Then rotate it back. And that's 1 repetition. Now the key to this exercise is that you make sure that your wrist stays straight. You don't want your wrist bending backwards or dropping down low. Keep your wrist as straight as possible while you rotate back and forth, okay? It's very important. We don't want to move your wrist in such an unnatural way that it's going to cause those joints to grind or cause some deterioration in the future. So while you do this, make sure that your wrist stays straight the entire time, okay? Don't let it drop and don't let it curl. So let's do a few repetitions of this. Assume your horse stance. Hold your arm straight out in front of you. Your wrist should be in line with your shoulder, and make sure that the tail of the bow is on the ground. Now, we're going to go up and over. That's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Now, you're going to switch hands, and you're going to do the other side. Make sure that you're holding your solid horse stance. Make sure that your arm is directly out from your shoulder and that the tail of the bow is on the ground. Now we're going to bring it up and over. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Alright, so with this exercise, just as with the last one, you can always do the 21 routine. With this one also, of course you go halfway up on one side, then you go halfway on the other side, and then you do the full range of motion back and forth. You can basically do the 21 routine with just about any exercise that you do. It's really great for burning out your muscles. But these two exercises that we went over today are going to be good for building up your forearms, especially when we get into doing our spins and we'll start doing the flowers and wrist rolls for exercise. This one is really going to help you out. So take your time with this one. Remember, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. You want to do this exercise nice and steady. The slower the better, okay? So have fun with this one.